Hey everybody. So the last time I called out Patrik Laine, he went on an absolute tear after I did, and I had to go back and retract, well, not really retract, but go back and do a second video about how he turned it around. Well, Patrik Laine is ice cold again, and when I say ice cold, I mean this guy has 4 goals in the last 2 months. 4 goals in 2 months. Not 4 goals in 2 weeks, not 4 goals in a month. 4 goals in the entire last 2 months. The month of December, he had 3 goals. The month of January, he scored 1 goal. Laine he's been awful. He's been absolutely awful the last couple of months. If you look at his stats on the season, he has 25 goals. Almost all of those came in the month of November. He absolutely tore it up in the month of November, but since then, he's been absolute garbage. 25 goals on the season, 9 assists for 34 points. Again, not even close to a point per game. 34 points in 50-something games. He's minus 14 on the year, and he's been borderline useless for the past 2 months. 4 goals since the month of November. Like I said, 3 in December, 1 in January. It's a new month. Maybe he goes on a hot streak. Patrik Laine is one of the streakiest scorers I've ever seen in the NHL. This is a guy who scored 5 goals in a game back in November against St. Louis. And during that whole streak in November, I think he had like 11 goals in like 4 games or something like that. It was absolutely insane how on fire he was. Since then, he's done absolutely nothing. That was it. That was his stretch of the season. He scored like 11 goals in a week. The month of November, I think in the entire month, he had like 18 goals in the month of November. Almost all of his goals this season came in the month of November. He got off to a slow start. He absolutely tore it up in November, and then December he only had 3 goals. January he only had 1. Maybe he goes off again. I mean, it's a new month. It's February, and he is so streaky. Maybe he goes off and scores 10 goals in the month of February. Maybe he scores 15 goals in the month of February. That would be really freaking nice for Winnipeg because he's done absolutely nothing for the past 2 months. It's mind-boggling to me how such a good goal scorer can go so long without scoring. I mean, 1 goal the entire month of January? Are you kidding me? And he still has 25 on the season. That shows how hot he can get, but he is not hot right now. Patrik Laine is probably the coldest he's ever been in his career. Now, that doesn't mean he's not still a good goal scorer. That doesn't mean he's not a great player. He is just going through an incredibly harsh, ice-cold streak right now. And he's been absolutely horrible over the past couple of months. This is a guy Winnipeg needs scoring to win in the playoffs. This is a guy who has to deliver. He has to produce because he's a huge part of that team. They cannot completely rely on that top line to score all of their goals. You have Wheeler, Scheifele, and Connor right now. It's usually Ehlers, but he's out injured. You have those 3 top guys, but then you need secondary scoring, and Patrik Laine has to play a big role in that secondary scoring. And he's just not right now. He hasn't been for the past 2 months. And this is a guy who isn't even producing on the power play. He's a guy who, it's one thing if he struggles at even strength, but if he's ripping home power play goals for you, then you know what? I think you take it. And you say at least he's helping out in some aspect. He hasn't even been scoring on the power play. He hasn't been scoring at all. So, you're at a point now where he needs to turn this around. Winnipeg needs him. He's an important player on that team. Yes, he's only 20 years old, but he's been in the league for a few years now. He was a top 2 pick. Like he's he's got to turn this around, and he needs to be, he has to get hot before the playoffs, because your chances of just, flipping a switch and turning it on come playoff time are not very high, I don't think. And I didn't think he played overly great in the playoffs last year. I mean, Mark Scheifele was really the driving force behind Winnipeg's playoff run last year. So, he's not a known playoff performer. I would love to see Laine score 10 goals in the month of November. Or November, stupid. The month of February. If Laine can score 10 goals in the month of February, that would really be a great thing, because then he can maybe simmer off a little bit in the month of March and then pick it up again for the playoffs. And that would be the best case scenario for the Winnipeg Jets and Laine, who is a very streaky goal scorer. But if he continues like this through the rest of the season and maybe only gets to 30 goals on the year, I mean, that is just not good. Especially given the fact that he was at such a high number 2 months into the season. This guy at the end of November had over 20 goals. Now he only has 25. That's a big problem. But we'll see. The last time I did a video like this, Laine absolutely went off. I guess I reversed the jinx or jinxed him, whatever. But I don't know. This has been a very, very long cold streak. 2 months, that is really bad. It's one thing to go cold for a couple weeks or even a month, but to go when you're supposed to be one of the top goal scorers in the NHL and you go ice cold for 2 straight months, that's something that needs to be fixed. So I hope Laine can turn it around, especially for Winnipeg's sake. They've been playing well without him, but come playoff time, when you're playing top competition, you have got to have your best players be your best players. So we'll see if Laine can turn things around and make any sort of a push here and start putting the puck in the net again. But 4 goals in 2 months, it's just not good enough from someone who's supposed to be one of the league's top goal scorers. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media, check out offthewallhockey.com. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon and merchandise store are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.